Hello all, today's going to be a little bit different for video making today, and what do I mean by that? Well, just some free text or information about myself. I am from an area that gets a lot of plagiarism when it comes to drinking beers. And to give off the hint, I am a proud and born Wisconsinite, born and raised from the old cheesehead and beer drinking state where we're known to be alcoholics and just drink 1,000 beers on a daily. And I am here to say that we are not alcoholics, but instead we take this up as a pastime, a hobby, you may say. Just like how people play cornhole for a hobby. We try beers and drink them for a hobby, just to have a jolly old time. So I believe that does not make us alcoholics, but instead not alcoholics. And this 30-pack beer tier list is all of the beers that I have personally recall me trying and tasting, but also have bought personally and recently too to try and taste test to see what is the worst beer out there for a 30-pack and what's the best. And some of these are literally just piss in a can, and others is gold in a can. I'm not talking about this one, okay? We'll get to this one here. So without further ado, let's try and rank all of these. And I've tried them all. And I remember all of them. I know that I might have missed some 30 packs out there, but these are just the ones I have found personally. And to start all off, Blue Labatt's. Now this is a Canadian beer. You can actually find this in Michigan or the UP, but that's all I've really been able to find them in for stores, unless if you like find them in really big liquor store chains. But even then, they're pretty rare. And this will be the beer that'll set the standard. B, the middle of the road from good or bad, where it's like, it's decent. This will be the midway. And what good way to break it from the midway if it's good or bad is old style. Now, old style is it's a bit heavier drink, and it has a lot more flavor. But it's not bad at all. It doesn't have that really crappy beer aftertaste. And overall, it's okay. It's on the same level as Blue Labatt's when it comes to quality. And the price is like $21. So that's standard for a 30-pack of beer. I know that other places, it's probably cheaper or more expensive. But here in good old Wisconsin, an average price for a 30-pack is like $21-ish, around there. Next, Stroh's. When I found this in the store, I thought, I've never seen this before. This looks pretty cool. It has a lion on it, looks sick. Let's try it out. And it was only, I think, it was like $22. It was on the higher end for beers. So I thought, hey, it must be good. Dead wrong. Completely terrible. Never buy Stroh's ever. Even if you love any type of beer. This is what makes F tier in this list. Stroh's. I don't know what company decided to sell this and make it legal, but this should be illegal to drink and buy because it is like drinking liquefied mud if it had like the worst taste ever. And it has, every crappy beer has a specific aftertaste that's very pungent, sour, and just bad. And this one, I believe, is where the crappy beer aftertaste originates from, because it is that disgustingly horrible. Within 2 cans of drinking this, I thought I had 10 and was out of the freaking throw up. It was disgusting. It was hard to palate this down. And I'm glad that there's enough here to put this at the number 1 spot. Moving on. Busch Lime. C tier. It's okay. It's more of a water than a beer, if anything. You don't even really taste beer at Busch in at all. If anything, it's like drinking tap water, but then you get like an aftertaste of lime. It's like the lime is like the afterthought and water is the main thing. And when I remember them making this for the first time, lime and beer, I mean, sure, there's Corona in a lime, so it might work out, but for Busch, and somehow they made it work, but the idea just wasn't a good one to begin with. And for that and just the taste overall without much flavor, it's going to be in C tier. Next, Busch Apple. Unlike Busch Lime, when they created Busch Apple, I believe God descended upon earth to bestow upon them this miraculous idea, which they have nailed. S tier. This is so good that they only release it every few years, and when they do, they sell out nearly instantly. Sorry about that, guys. There is some pop-up stuff that went on my computer that I had to X out. But back to what I was talking about. Busch Apple is just amazing, and I think that's why there's an S tier, and I haven't heard anybody talk bad about Busch Apple other than the people that don't like the flavor of apple or just hate the flavor of apple. Those are the only exceptions I've heard where it's like, yeah, I'm not much of an apple guy. I'm not much of an apple guy either, but in beer, in Busch, ooh, man, heater right here. And do you know what else is not a heater? Hey neighbor, this sucks. F tier. I don't even know how to say this name. I might cast a spell. But this is like the second worst beer I've ever had compared to Stroh's. This is like if, I don't know how to put it, but having drinking this, it felt like I was poisoning myself. It wasn't good. It was very bad. It had a very strong, crappy beer aftertaste, and it was just hard to stomach down. You only need 2 of these to realize that you wasted your goddamn money. And what's even worse was this thing was $23 goddamn dollars without tax. Like, goddamn! No, I'm not going to spend any more than free to get this. And if someone ever comes up to me and says, hey, this is free, you want to have it? I'm going to smack it out of their hands and tell them, bitch, you crazy? No. Terrible, terrible beer. I don't even need to describe it, the flavor or anything, because you don't need to buy this ever. Next, Michelob Golden. Now, this might be a very big hot topic, but I will put it in B tier. And the reason being is it's similar to Busch Lime, where it's mainly just water, but unlike lime where there's an aftertaste, there's no aftertaste with Michelob Golden. This is literally just tap water in a 30-pack case. There is no flavor at all, and if you want to like get hammered and not feel anything while doing so when it comes to just flavor profile, this is the way to go. And the case was only like $18, so it's cheaper than the standard price. And it's just that. It's literally water in a can. And I actually poured some of it into a glass to see if there's that yellow hue, like with most light beers. And I thought there's like the slightest bit ever, but it's mainly just clear. And it's because it's just water. And then Michelob Ultra, the standard, C tier, because you actually taste something in this can. It's not much, but there's definitely something there. And whatever is there, it's just, it's okay. It's not your standard, there's flavor, it's decent flavor, it's good flavor, and all that. It's, it's just really watered down. That's all it is. Milwaukee's Best. Now, I have a light on this, but I tried light and just normal Milwaukee's Best. And this is going to C tier, because this kind of borderlines the F tier when it comes to that crappy beer aftertaste and just flavor profile. because the flavor in this isn't smooth or crisp at all. It's very there. I don't know how to put it, but it's a bold flavor that doesn't go well with being bold. And it almost has that crappy beer aftertaste, like I said, but not quite. And for that reason, C tier. I mean, yeah, C tier. Old Milwaukee. This might come as a shock for you guys, but I actually like this quite a bit. A tier. And the reason why it skipped out of B tier is because some beers, like I described with Old Milwaukee, try to give a lot of flavor in their can. And it's really hard to do that and not fumble it. And to have it be a light beer, or just a beer in general, and have the flavor be good, you need to like it. And what Old Milwaukee did was have the flavor be there, but also tamed it down just a little bit, where that's not all the beer is. Like, it's light, so the flavor's good, but a touch lighter than most, and I really like that. And this honestly reminds me of like Coke in a sense, where you get the flavor, and sure, sometimes Coke can be a bit thicker, but with this, it's like if you're drinking Coke but without that syrupy taste to it, but converted to beer standards. It was actually really good. I like the flavor. It was very crisp, and it was only $17 for a 30-pack, which is actually a really good deal. Very good deal. Like that a lot. Next, Busch Peach. I'm thinking about this, and this is my tier list. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put it in A tier. Now, I did debate about putting it in B tier because I'm not much of a peach flavoring guy. And I know I did say I was going to rate this based off of flavor, but I can't deny the fact that when this first got released, they wanted it gone for some reason. They wanted this shit off the shelves and vanish like it was no idea at all. Because after like the first month this came out, I went into my freaking local Walmart and stores and saw that they were selling this crap for like $12 a 30-pack. It was highway robbery, basically, on my end, freaking stealing off their shelves. And there were some places too where they had a manager deal where if you buy 2 cases, you get both of them half off. So, no joke, one day I walked in with my roommate and saw that there were $9 a 30-pack with the deal. So me and my homeboy bought 6 of them for $40, which is basically the same price as 2. Complete steal. And if you do the math on that, that's a lot of liquid gold right there. And the flavor for it being peach, which I thought they were crazy for making a peach after they made Busch Apple, because this was his predecessor, wasn't bad. It was actually pretty good. It's just more of a sweeter beer, if anything, and you get a little bit of that peach taste, but you can handle it because not that many people hate the flavor of peach. They're like, yeah, it's okay. And that's how I feel about it too. But what really pushes it into A tier is that goddamn discounted price. Love that. Keystone, F. If you've never had Keystone, think about the smell of cat piss, but imagine that liquefied into a cold can. That's what Keystone is. Enough said. All right, Bud Ice. Shockingly, when I first bought this beer, it looked exactly like the image I have here. And no, I didn't rip this off from 2000. This is what it still looks like now today, 20 years later. Threw me back to the past with the art on the case here. And what even threw me even for more of a bigger loop was how decent it was. B tier. Like, I'm not much of a Bud guy at all. I actually don't like Bud Light. But when it came to Bud Ice, it only has like 1% more alcohol than the actual Bud Light, which is 4.2. This will have like 5.2, 5.5. Not much extra at all. And if anything, I think it helped with the flavor. And even my roommate who tried it was like, this is actually way better than I thought. I thought it tastes like ass. It shocked me. And sure, the price is standard, $21, $22. but for it being Bud Ice, it was actually solid. Very solid. Natterdays, the lemonade flavored beer. Now, I really like this beer. I'm going to put it in an A tier because it doesn't even taste like beer. It's literally just lemonade in a beer can with a little bit of the wheat flavor from the beer, but not much. The only downside to it not being an S tier is that it's super, super sweet. And if you have more than like 5 or 6 of them, you're going to wake up in the morning with the worst gut rot ever. You'll feel like you develop type 2 diabetes and have straight sugar in your veins because it's so sweet. I've personally drinking half of this case on a camping trip once, and I woke up regretting that decision. It was a good decision at the moment, but when I woke up, oh boy, I thought I needed a shot of insulin. It wasn't good. And that's why it's in A tier and non S, but still very good. I would honestly, out of this entire list that I have so far listed up here, if I would recommend just beers for people to try, if they're not really big beer drinkers, it'll be Bush Apple and Natterdays, 100%. I was about to say Golden, but people might be turned off because it just tastes like water, and they'll just be like, "What'd you give me?" Hams, F tier. Like how I stated before, where which one was it? Where like Old Milwaukee kind of tasted like Coke, but with less of the syrupy taste. Keystone and Hams is like Coke and Pepsi, where Keystone is crisp but tastes like cat piss, and Hams is like Coke, where there's a lot of that syrupy flavor, and that flavor is there, and that flavor is not good. It is bad. It makes you want to throw up ham. That's what it wants you to do. Fucking terrible. And it's really cheap. Like it's like $16 or yeah, $16 for a 30 pack, which makes sense. It's worth less than that. I think free wouldn't be cheaper for this beer. Like if someone gave me Hams for free, I would probably tell them you're insane. All right, High Life Miller Lite. Now, shockingly, Coors and Miller Lite don't really have a 30 pack. I thought they did in the past, but I don't think they ever did. All they have are 24 packs or 24 16-ounce packs. And the reason why I have this on this list is I at least try a Miller brand, and it could have been any plethora of them. I chose High Life, and it's C tier. It's kind of like Milwaukee's Best, but a little bit better because it doesn't really have that crappy beer aftertaste, but it does have that Miller taste, which is very strong. And if you're not a constant Miller drinker, you're going to be thrown for a loop with the flavor profile. And the drink is just okay. It's not good by any means, but it's just okay. And depending on the day, it could be an F tier, but I'm just going based off of flavor with this one, C tier. Rolling Rock, C tier. I don't really remember much from this drink, honestly. It was probably the most forgettable one out of this entire bunch. And I'm an ale drinker. This is an ale. And when I bought this, I thought it'd be something to remember, but not really. It was just like your standard mid-tier beer. Not like Labatt's or OSI like B. It's like lower standard. Like, oh, yeah, I probably spent more money than what I should have on this. So if that really tells you anything, and if I forgot the flavor of it, and I bought it recently and tried it and still forgot, then that kind of shows you why it's in C tier. Pabst Blue Ribbon. I would put in B tier because it has good flavor. It's not too heavy. And it's not too light either. It's a good balance of just the heftiness of the drink. And the flavor I thought would be a lot stronger because I had this many years ago and I thought it tasted like straight dirt. Both more of a refined palate. I tried it again and it actually shocked me for how good the flavor was. Not just like the flavor in general, but like how much of it was there. It's like a good balance of flavor. And the flavor that was there, I liked. I liked a lot. B tier standard. Natural ice. F tier. Now, we're going to get to the other version of natural, but how I said with Natter Days or the lemonade flavored version, how it's like really good. This is the exact opposite. This is them basically scraping the bottom of the barrel of those big brewing cylinders at their company and decide to put it into a can and then spike it with a lot of alcohol. Because I think this is like a 6.5% alcohol, I think. And let me tell you, it does not make it good. It actually makes it a lot worse. A whole lot worse. Having one of these cans feels like you're having 3 beers. And that's not a good thing. And sure, this is $16 something for a 30 pack, and for a good reason. Just like the hams, it sucks, and it should be actually worth less than that. Not good. Don't get this ever unless if you want to get drunk fast, then get it. Bush Heavy. Now, I don't really see many people drink Bush Heavy, and it's because you need a refined palate for it. Just like people drinking bourbon, you need to want to like it. And I do like Bush, but not this much Bush. Like the flavor of this is just too much. This is where if someone had like your favorite flavor on earth, and for me it's grape, and if someone spiked your favorite flavor to the point where it's just too overwhelming, that's what Bush Heavy is. It's just overwhelming. And the drink itself is just super heavy. Like, I had this for camping one time, and I had like a couple cans, and I had to wean myself off of it to just normal Bush because it was just so heavy. And when I cracked open that Bush Light can for the first time, it was such a big fresh air of not just flavor, but like just so much lighter. It's like I was breathing air instead of fog. It was crazy. Anyways, Natural Light, C tier. I am debating if I should put it in C or F, but I will say because of what's currently in F, this is as far back in C tier as possible, and if anything, I would put it in between C and F, but I kind of can't. And it's because this is the beer where it starts getting that crappy beer aftertaste. This is the one right here that kind of really starts that trend. And that borderline of, oh, this isn't good. And it's not to the point where it needs to join these brethren down here, but it's definitely a haul to drink these. And once you're about 5 deep, you definitely feel it, and the flavor is so pungent. And it's not a good one either. And it's such an in-between from C and F for me to really put it anywhere. So putting it as far back as C, I think, is the best call. Budweiser. Personally, I'm not a Bud guy at all. I'm shocked you even like Bud Ice. But for Budweiser, I just don't like the flavor of it. And for me not liking the flavor, and for there being a lot of it, just not for me. So, if anything, I'll put it right behind Bush Heavy, because it's just my personal bias with the drink. I know that some other people probably put higher, but I just can't. I'm not a big Bud guy. Bush Light, A tier. Now, I could put it in S, but it's because this is your go-to standard beer for any occasion of drinking, whether if you're at a bar, camping, grilling, anywhere. If you bring a 30-pack of Bush Light, everyone's going to give you a thumbs up because that's just a standard go-to, man. This is your go-to drink when anybody thinks about beer. And if this is the go-to, then that means it's pretty good. And I would agree. It's good. I like it a lot. And that's why it's like one of the big 3 for staples when it comes to Miller, Coors, and Busch. This is just the standard. The higher standard, actually. It doesn't belong anywhere here. It's just an A tier because it's just a good beer. Solid. And then finally, last but not least, Export Light. How I said how Keystone and Hams is the Pepsi and Coke of the F tier. Old Milwaukee and Special Export are actually the Coke and Pepsi of the A tier, where Old Milwaukee has that Coke flavor, but kind of kicks back on the syrupy heaviness of the flavor, while the Special Export is like Pepsi, where it's very, very crisp, light, very palatable. The flavor is really good and light. This is just a light drink, not just for beer, but flavor. And it's not like there's not much flavor in it. There's definitely flavor in the can, but the flavor's like lemonade, where it's like really light and refreshing in a sense. This is what a refreshing can is. Export Light. A Special Export. My bad. And if you want something with not heavier, but something different that isn't crisp, but more of a thicker taste profile, but still has that, I don't know how you put it, but doesn't feel heavy, then Old Milwaukee is your way to go. These two, I believe, go hand in hand very well. For if you like one side, or if you don't like one side, go for the other. If you don't like that one side, go for the other type thing. Coke and Pepsi type deal, where they're both good, but just in their own special ways. And that there, guys, is the beer tier list. Now, I think this is pretty well dispersed. There's definitely a lot of C tier, and because there's a lot of 30 packs out there that are just meh, very bland. And I'm not saying bland in flavor. Oh, there's flavor, all right. But bland as in just not good, really. And there's actually a lot more F tiers than I thought before I started trying all these. And oh boy, did I waste my money on those. I remember them all right for being crappy. Really, especially these two right here. Ooh, don't get me started. I could beef about these two for days. Awful. But anyways, this is me explaining how I'm not an alcoholic, and this is actually a good pastime my community of Wisconsinites do. It's very fun. You should try it, but it's not for everybody. That's all I'll say. And hopefully this ranking or tier list helps give Wisconsin a better light when it comes to them being alcoholics, and that they're not. They're just connoisseurs in tasting fine beverages. Hope you guys liked the video, and if you do, I could actually make another tier list where it isn't 30 packs, but just some other different flavors of stuff. Doesn't really have to be beer, it could be really sodas or like anything. But this is what I chose because that's kind of what I'm currently working on right now, is just trying every 30 pack I could find. Does not mean I'm an alcoholic though. I'm just very, guess you can say, open-minded with my palate for liquid gold. Anyways, deuces.